What's going on, gamers? So, what an interesting article here, huh? That we found out. There's been a lot of gaming news coming out lately the past couple of days, like crazy enough to make a lot of content if you're creative enough. I love it, honestly. Just so much different types that you could just focus on, and it's just great. So, in the PlayStation world again, Helldivers 2 dev breaks away from PlayStation. Next game will be self-funded. The war bond is broken. If you play Helldivers, you know what that means. Yikes. And this is Team Arrowhead, by the way. Okay, so first, just by seeing this title right here, what it tells me is they would like to publish and manage everything. I'm just going to say it because when you're still working with Sony on a game that's right now you don't want to kill, you still have to be professional, right? Because we're going to see some things they're going to say, but remember why they said that and because they're still cool anyways. This game could have been even more successful than it could have been if Sony would have done nothing. There's a lot of situations where we've seen in the industry where we could have said, if you would have done nothing, things would have been a lot better. We're talking about PSN enforcement login after the game was so successful and people got conditioned to logging in that way. And you're trying to change that so that you can kind of increase your monthly active users, your players, playing that stupid little game too. And then PlayStation Network stuff can just spike up. Which, I mean, anybody wants to do that. Microsoft does this on PC all the time, you know what I mean? But Sony just doesn't seem to understand the PC base enough to where they want to do that because they keep on making dumb mistakes. So you got to pick what you want to do. And then just to lock out of other regions around the world, they were just hurting the game and putting unnecessary dents in it when they could have just done nothing. So that's the way I feel about this situation. So I can understand why they feel that way. And we're going to read what they have to say. So this is kind of what I wanted to highlight about this because it's important to talk about because it's Sony's problem with live service games. Do we understand this? There's been no good progress. Even with the one that is so successful, they almost messed this up. You see what I mean? So realistically, looking at the track record of live service with PlayStation, not first party, single player narratives, they do a good job with that. But for live service, I have not seen anything good come out of it. And Bungie was supposed to be the ones that were supposed to be experts on this. And according to the moves that Sony has been making, I don't see where that's supposed to be yet. Definitely with the way Marathon's looking too. So it's just all gone to hell in that sense. And then they're continuing to build more stuff to work on more live service games. I'm like, what are we doing here, man? Yeah, it's ridiculous. So then they punish people for that and make them want to pay for it and then jack up the prices. Just stupid stuff for their behaviors and then layoffs. So let's go down here and read this. Helldivers 2 developer Arrowhead Studios has confirmed that it will not be partnering with PlayStation for its next game. That's good. According to CEO Shams Georgiani on Discord, the co-op shooter, so it's going to be a co-op shooter again, has been so successful that the company, oh, okay, can now self-fund whatever's next. That's good. And whatever it is, it's probably going to be multi-platform. Ah, I see. Okay, so that also removes the shackles of trying to make it PlayStation only. Definitely knowing that the Switch 2 is there too. And Sony's was going to do day and date PC anyways, but I think they want to get that Switch audience too and reach to the Xbox audience as well. Game 6 for our next project will happen the way it will happen thanks to you, he wrote, as reported by Forbes. The next game is 100% funded by ourselves, so we call 100% of these shots. So we see some things right here. Self-funded, breaks away from PlayStation, calling 100% of the shots. Guys, if somebody says I'm going to be calling 100% of the shots, you know what I mean? That kind of says something. Though I still have to work with you for Helldivers because you own the IP, but that right there tells me a lot before we read on. You get what I mean? Like that type of tone there is like, yeah, probably because of your damn management, dents have been put in my game, our great development that we've developed. You know what I mean? You're just publishing it and getting in the way and doing stupid things, man. I have to tell you because that's exactly what happened. Because these devs are awesome. They made something very unique and cool where nothing could compete with it, even in their window last year around this time. So they have a value now, and I like that they want to get independent and get away from corporations. Definitely with the way Sony's been handling live service, I don't trust them. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, they're doing the right things. It's a mess over there. So why would you not do that? And then be honest about that. You want to call the shots. You ain't showing me you could do anything good, and they're right in there seeing that. You know what I mean? So it makes sense why they feel that way. Giorgiani then shut down suggestions that there might be some kind of bad blood between Arrowhead and PlayStation. So you can't say that though, when you're still working with them on Helldivers. And it's Sony, you know what I mean? No way, PlayStation are great. There would be no Helldivers if it wasn't for them. But there could be another, double-edged sword with that statement. But well, we already talked about that, right? We're open to working with them again in the future. So that means because they love the Helldiver series, they're gonna have to continue it with them. You get what I mean? Just translating it and, being real. They are incredibly game dev oriented, solid partners, and this is me just saying it like it is. Maybe there's some truth to some of that. Of course, from a Sony and PlayStation perspective, all of this is probably a bit of a kicker. Helldivers 2 has been Sony's biggest live service success by a ludicrous distance. Yeah, but PC is a majority of that. To the point where rumors regarding a potential acquisition of Arrowhead were being thrown around last year. This just lets you know they do not want to be acquired and being bossed around fully, knowing that Sony now owns them. No. And I'm glad. That's smart. It's good that they try to go independent. That's the best thing to do. At least try that. Before everything else goes down. Those rumors were denied very quickly, as we can see here. Sony's not going to acquire them. And now it's looking like the developers actually got the means to go off and do its own thing. So there we have it right here. They want to make their own IP while maintaining the Helldivers relationship with Sony because Sony has their hooks on it and they know how good they are and they're not going to let that go. So you kind of know how that is. They're going to have to play the middleman game between their IP and working with Sony. And we know they still probably want to like say, oh, can we market it or do something? Who knows? But we know Sony's not going to give up and they're going to stay aggressive on it. So let's go down here and read some of these comments. I honestly didn't think that Sony were going to buy them. I'm glad that they were going to do their own thing. And this is probably going to do their own. And this is good publicity for Sony and indie developers. Yeah, I think it's fine though. Sony did a good deed by helping others grind and grow into success and into doing their own independent thing. As long as they continue to release games on PlayStation and don't partner exclusive deals to competitors for the foreseeable future, then it's all good. Okay, that's a reasonable comment. Why will it be interesting? I don't think anyone here is going to have a problem with Arrowhead doing their own thing. Plus, I think a lot of money was left on the table since Helldivers 2 never went to Xbox. I agree with him on that because that's a dude bro shooter platform. They would have benefited a lot more by doing that. That game, it literally has Xbox written all over it. But that was Sony's decision, not theirs. And I'm pretty sure they probably wanted that to happen. And that was probably something that is probably maybe a little small grudge. You never know. I can't speak on that for sure. But I think it would just automatically make sense from an empathetic standpoint that they would feel that way. I think once their next projects are over and done with, they'll be back for Helldivers 3. They'll be supporting 2 for a while and can afford to play around with whatever they want. Yeah, and they feel more comfortable now. They've grown so much by going through all of this. Look at the leap they've made. They're a high quality developer, and that's what we love seeing. This is why you need to neuter indies, guys, because look at the potential of somebody like them who had Helldivers 1 and didn't sell nowhere near that much, and then look at the jump. And they were indie. This potential is always floating around in the world, and you can't squash it by just AAA supporting and AAA focusing because everybody at once had that indie aspect going all the way back to the NES days. So I love why Nintendo does. They still keep it alive because they focus on 2D and 3D simultaneously. Even with all the franchises they keep alive for decades, you see 2D still going now. Versions like Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Link's Awakening, but remakes of older ones next gen too and new IPs. And Mario does the same thing. It's like you still have that 2D spirit and the 3D spirit, and you're going deeper into them and making them better and showing them off in ways people never thought of. It's good because I think the industry is out of balance. There's too much high AAA budget spend and not enough indie balance with AA balance. Imagine those being released in between the AAA games. This is what Nintendo does masterfully. They do a lot of things good video game wise. And I would like to see them do that. Shuhei was smart when he said, yeah, we should do that with PlayStation. That, I mean, look at Returnal. That's another game that's an example of an indie dev that went AAA, right? There's a lot of potential in the indie world, and people need to focus on it more. So I love seeing indie growth happen, and I think people are being taught that now. And because like I said, that's your youth, that's your future, so you have to train them well. People who are leading. Nice, 100% control and creativity. And it also means that they can take as long as it's needed as they control the deadline too. Awesome news, and I can't wait to see what they make. I don't think PlayStation is really missing out here. They will still put whatever their next game is on PlayStation anyways. And if Arrowhead's next game doesn't turn out as well as Helldivers 2, they can always fall back later to make Helldivers 3 or something with PlayStation down the road. That's what I feel like. I feel like they're fine now. They can experiment, and I think their next game is going to be good. They've made that leap, and they've shown their quality developers. So, for the most part, we see some reasonable comments here. This is just something to talk about. Let me know what you guys think about this in the PlayStation world and just in general, because gamers are going to be going more multi-platform, and I think Sony will just open up more too, as they should. So like, comment, subscribe, let me know what y'all think. All right, y'all, have a great day. Peace out.